Happy Veterans Day, honoring all who served. We appreciate your service. Our guest today is a veteran, and we appreciate her service and all that she does. And we got a great show lined up today. So, y'all grab your notebooks and let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's an exciting day today, y'all. November, this time of the year, holidays and it's so much going on this time of the year. And this year only has maybe 7 weeks left in it. Today is 11/11/2021. We got about roughly 7 weeks left in this year. So time is moving. We all can agree on that. Time is flying. Good morning, everybody. Y'all ready? Grab those pens, grab those notebooks, because we going in today. This is Danny Cook Part 6. We dropping nuggets today. So I mean, you better sop it up like a biscuit with some syrup. Let's go, y'all. You can tell I'm kind of country, huh?
Isn't it crazy that we can relax on the plane, but we don't even know the pilot? We can relax on the ship, but we don't even know the captain. We can relax on the bus, but we don't even know the driver. So what I'm getting at is why we can't relax in life knowing that God is in control. A lot of us stress over stuff that we don't even have control over. The crazy part is we just got to say God got it. Some of us lost a job. God got us. Some of us looking for a house. God got us. Some of us is looking for a relationship. God got us. Some of us is trying to get a divorce. God got us. Some of us is trying to move on in life. God got us. Just know God is in control, man. Love, peace, blessings. God got us.
And another thing I tacked on with what this young man said, we go to a restaurant and we don't know the chef, but we trust the food when it comes to the table. You know, I was at Longhorn the other day. I did not question whether that chef cooked my steak the way it was supposed to be cooked. That thing was good, you know? And so we got to remember God's got us. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Sims, host of the Dr. Sims Daily Show, and I do not even need to introduce our next guest. She's fabulous. She's awesome. She's wonderful. I don't know another word to put at her feet because she's just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She's just awesome. So here she goes. She's gonna be smiling when we bring her on camera. We flown her in all the way from hot ATL. She's in the green room. She's mic'd up, sipping on some coffee, looking just all kinds of awesome. Without any further ado, my dear colleague, Danny Cook.
Hey, everybody.
Well, good morning, my friend. How are you?
How are you?
I'm I am so good. Again, thank you for your service.
You're very welcome. I thought you was about to say I'm okay, and I was like, perfect.
I almost did. I almost did. I almost did. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How long were you in the service, Danny?
So I was in the service for 5 years.
Okay. Okay. What branch?
My dad was in Army.
Okay.
My dad was in. My mom was in. Both my brothers were in. I was in. Yeah, all of us. Like my parents met in the service, which is crazy because if you think about the time frame for it,
Right.
like my dad was a black man in the Army in nursing school.
Oh wow.
When my parents met in the early '60s.
How about that? So
How
what?
about that?
What motivated you to join the army?
Well, a couple things. So first, it's a family thing.
Okay.
And my dad played a lot in that because my dad passed when I was 6 months old.
Okay.
Right? So so there was always this connection around it, if you will. Plus, where I'm from, you either come from a family that can afford college,
Right.
or you are able to get some sort of athletic scholarship, some sort of whatever, right? Or you join the military, or you just stay home and like go to work at one of the plants. You know what I mean?
Got you.
And so,
got you.
wasn't no way in hell I was staying home.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
good.
But no, I always knew I was going to join since I was a little girl.
Okay.
That was the plan.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it at the net. Are you okay this morning, Danny? I know that's such a cliche, and we ask people, "Are you okay?" And a lot of times we don't even pause to get a response. And you shared with me in pre-production that you kind of had to take a time out for Danny this week. So are you okay this morning?
Yeah. So like to me, I think that okay is a word when we don't really have anything else, right? I don't think that it's really like, what does that even mean? And so if I have my coach hat on, right? Especially because in my training, we focus a lot on communication,
right? And
we focus a lot on the fact that we use words and we assume that they mean the same thing to everyone, right?
Good point.
So we do, and so I'll give you an example. Working with this couple one time, the husband's talking, and he was like, I just feel like we need to sell this place, and we need to buy a bigger house soon. And he used the word soon.
Okay.
And the wife lost her stuff. She was like,
wow.
What do you mean? We need to buy another house soon. And like, she just lost it, right? So reel them back in, and I asked, and I turned to the husband, I said, so let me ask you this. What does soon mean to you? And he was like, I don't know. In like 2-3 years, her whole face changed.
Wow.
Because to her, soon meant
like
6 months.
Like in 3 weeks.
And so, but we use these words all the time in relationships, especially the more familiar we are with people. We just think that they're supposed to know what our words mean. And we do the same thing with I'm okay. I think that I'm okay has become a blanket statement for I am most likely not okay, and I feel it necessary to hold up this mask that says I'm good.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Because when you are really okay, when you're well, you be like, I'm fantastic, I'm great, I'm amazing, right?
Yeah. Right.
We know when we are good, right? I think that I'm okay says, well, it could mean a couple different things. So for me, a lot of times, I'm okay is I am not okay, and I don't know you well enough to give you access to my vulnerable places.
Wow. Wow.
I'm okay can mean I am not okay, and
that's good. That's good.
And you're not someone, right, that you're not my tribe.
Right. And I really don't have time to unpack it since I don't know you.
Correct. And it can also mean I'm okay and I'm not ready to unpack it.
Wow. Good.
Yeah. Because, a lot of times some people think that. That's good. Okay. So there's this great book called, Positive Intelligence. Have you ever read it?
Oh yeah, it's on my Audible.
So I love Positive Intelligence, and where he talks about being in the balcony versus the basement, and so he talks about it from like operating from your wisdom or your sage, which is like your heart, your soul, your spirit, right? Your inner person, or operating from your intellect and your ego, which tends to be in the basement, right? And so. There have been times. So if you think about it like this, guys, when you go into the basement, think about a literal basement. It is dark. It's damp. Right. There are no windows. If they are, the window is half covered by the grass. It don't open. There's a stench to it, right?
That's
it's got a smell. It's musty. And it's full of all of your boxes of bags of things that you haven't unpacked, don't want to unpack, and don't need them in your regular life, but you're carrying them with you from place to place to place to place to place.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And from the basement, it's very hard to see your way out. There's one staircase and one staircase only, right? But when you go up to the balcony, right, literally if you walk out on the balcony, you can see all the main roads that other people took. You can see new paths to travel. You can see the sun is shining, right? The wind is blowing, the birds are chirping. And that's the difference, right? But sometimes you can know that you're in the basement, and there is no shame in being there, right? It is just saying, I'm okay. I'm in the basement, and I need to be here for a minute.
Yeah.
Because this ish is ugly, and it's valid. That's the other thing. Do y'all know it's valid to not be okay?
It's okay to not be okay.
But what do people know? What does that mean? It's okay.
Right. That's a great point. That's a great. So what got you to take a time out this week when you realized, wait a minute, DC, wait a minute, Danny, I'm not okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I practice mindfulness, right? Which means I'm aware of what I think and I'm aware of my self-talk.
Okay.
Okay. I'm also very aware of if I start out on like a real high note, like, cause in the mornings I usually take my time, I'm in the gym, I'm whatever.
Right.
And so if I feel an unexplained shift in my energy,
okay,
and all of a sudden it's like, ugh, right? And all of a sudden it feels heavy or whatever. Yeah, I got some stuff going on, right? And so for me, I know that
this is good.
So this is all about what I choose to make it mean, right? We talked about this a little bit. So in November, so like my dad died when I was 6 months old. He died Thanksgiving morning.
Okay.
November 22nd at the age of 33, 11/22/33. My godmother, who helped raise me, died like a couple days before Thanksgiving. Last year, my former mother-in-law, same thing, the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
My dad's mom passed 11/11, so today, 1987. November tends to be this time, and it's so crazy. It's this time of Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
And it seems to be a time when my family experiences a lot of loss.
Okay.
And it's packed in between October and December, which is one of my best friend's birthday and date of transition.
Okay.
And so a really good friend of mine is in ICU right now with COVID.
Okay.
And she was doing okay at first. Like she got the antibodies, life was cool. And then literally in like a 24-hour time span, all of a sudden she was in ICU and with a feeding tube and sedated.
Wow.
And like, yeah, like when I said my friend is sick, she's sick, right? At one point in time, like because of all the things that medically were going on, like you're looking at like a 30 to 50% mortality rate,
right?
With everything that was going on. And so I recognized for myself, okay, so girl, I'm straight up triggered because she's my age, just like Tavis was, just like they share certain things in common. And so, but there's this, it's being mindful. Don't ignore. Here's what I believe. I believe that if you ignore the emotional signs of not being okay, it will end up manifesting physically.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you feel that heaviness, when your mood shifts and you don't even know why, that's a real good indicator that you are not okay.
Okay.
You know?
That's good.
And then it's figuring out, what do you need when you're not okay? And how long do you want to sit in the basement? And, sometimes I've been known to leave the basement, go grab a cup of coffee and come back down to the basement. Be like, okay, I just needed a break for a second.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because we still have to work through things. But I really do believe that right now, especially, I believe that the majority of the world, especially the majority of this country, is not okay.
I'm totally in concert with that. So what are you and I going to do? We talked about doing something early December to really
December 8th at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, unpack this for people because people need help. A lot of people need help because 94,000 people overdosed last year. Mm-hmm. And it may be a higher number. I Googled that number, putting my show together a couple of months ago, and 94,000 people overdosed. Yeah. To your point that America is not okay right now. We got so much going on. I'm going to touch on a couple of things later on in the show, but America's not okay right now. So what are we going to do? What are you and I collabing and planning to do for everybody?
So for the next few months, we're gonna do a segment together. It's gonna be like an hour, 90-minute long event,
right? Where
we get together and we talk about how to even recognize when you're not okay,
right?
Because we live in a world that is taught that we are just supposed to go through the motions. Most people go through the motions, and y'all do realize that you can even have what appears to be positive coping mechanisms that are negative, right?
Yeah.
So just because you take your tail to the gym doesn't mean that that's a positive coping mechanism. If you are going to the gym and ignoring your emotions
Right.
and not working through it,
That's right. That's
still a
right.
problem, right? It's still a problem.
It's still
So
a
whether
problem.
it's the gym or whether it's alcohol, right?
That's right.
We all cope in different ways. And so, so we're going to talk about how to be able to identify when you're not okay, to be able to unpack what that looks like for you,
Amen.
to talk about what resources feel good to you,
Yeah.
what type of support do you need, being okay with other people not being okay that you're not okay, right?
Right.
And believe it or not, there are going to be people in your life that when you begin to do the work to not be okay, they won't be okay with that.
Right. That's
Right?
exactly right.
Because a lot of times when we do our own work for other people, it is a reminder that they aren't doing theirs.
That's right. Exactly. And it just piles on top of each other.
It feels on top.
I just came up with a new word. And we'll talk about this in our event with everybody. I'm going to call it, spelled like ignorance, but I'm going to call it ignorance. Because just like you said, just because I go to the gym, positive coping mechanisms that are negative, ignorance. We are masters in ignorance.
But why do you think that is?
Because if I could put my coaching hat on, and we run into this all the time, it's avoidance. We don't want to deal with it. We got too much life going on to pause and deal with it. And I tell everybody, Danny, you're at the center of everything you do, and if you don't deal with you, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think that it's a couple of things. I do think that it's avoidance, and I think that we live in a society that teaches us to avoid.
Right. Good point.
So, for me, I know children are taught. So think about the number of children that go to school, and they know that the teachers and the staff, and even the other students, and sometimes the other parents of the other students, they know what's happening in that child's home, and no one's addressing it.
Wow.
Think about how often that happens in church. I know it happens in church. I remember growing up in church, and we all knew, and I won't call them by their name now, but y'all know who
I'm
you
with
are.
you. I'm with you.
Y'all know who you are, right? We knew such and such's daddy was an alcoholic and used to beat on his wife. We knew Deacon such and such was also an alcoholic. We knew, we knew.
Right.
And no one was doing anything. In the church even.
That's right.
In the church even, avoiding the real issues. And I think this is where, so somebody asked me the other day, who is my target audience for my decks, right?
Right.
And I said, it's funny because you would think that it wouldn't be Christians, but it really is.
Right.
My decks are for not just Christian people, but Christian people who have sat in church for such a long time.
Amen.
And gotten lessons and no tools for practical application.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
It is very hard for me to sit in your church and hear you talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and you know that Joe Blow is beating Sally Mae, and you ain't doing jack about it.
You know what our go-to is, right? And we got a question from the audience. You know what our go-to is, right? As Christians, as believers, you know what our go-to is. Child, we just gonna pray about it.
Yeah. Well. Faith without works is dead.
You already know. I talked about it Sunday. Teresa Duval said, today I'm kind of okay. What does that mean about me?
Well, and I know Teresa. So she's not kind of okay. That's first of all, because you ain't kind of anything, right? It's people don't realize this. You either are or you aren't. Even though life is full of gray, right? You really either are or you aren't. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So, you know how people say, well, I'm trying to get better. No, you ain't.
No, that's
Here's
right.
why. So if this is my hand and I put my vitamins, if I put my apple cider vinegar in my hands, right? And I try to pick it up.
Come on.
Let me try to pick it up.
Come on.
No, don't pick it up. Just try.
Teach, Danny.
You can't, right? You're not kind of okay. If you are not okay, you're not kind of okay. You're kind of not okay, right?
That's right. That's right.
Like it's
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
If you take your egg or the cheese out the fridge and there's mold on it, is it
Right.
kind of rotten, or is the cheese rotten? Right? Like, it's not kinda.
Right.
Right.
When we were growing up, some of the sitcoms, Good Times, Sanford and Son, etc. You remember what they used to say? Well, the girlfriend would say, "Well, Johnny, I'm kind of pregnant." Kind of pregnant.
Yeah. But we use this language to make us feel like, well, we use it to hide. We use it to not be vulnerable. We use it a lot because of shame and guilt.
Yeah.
We live in a society that if you are not okay, shame on you for not being okay.
That's exactly
Shame on you
right.
for not picking yourself by the bootstraps and being able to push forward. Shame on you for not being able to figure it out. Shame on you for not having it all together. Shame on you because if I did it, you can do it. Well, first of all, just because you did it don't mean you did it right.
Exactly.
And it don't mean you okay. Because if your attitude towards me is, I did it so you can do it, you're probably not okay.
That's exactly right. Because there's no
Right.
empathy in that statement,
Exactly. And we are a people that is lacking in empathy and compassion. I talked about this the other day. People say all the time, people who, because I grew up in corporal punishment, and as an early parent, I used it, right? Because it's what I knew.
Right.
Looking back now, when people say, well, these kids just need their tail whooped, and we got ours whooped and we turned out okay. Here's the newsflash.
Uh-oh.
You did not turn out okay. Because look at the world that we have created. If we were okay, the world that we have right now would not be doing the things it's doing. We would not be shooting each other in the street. We would not be have politicians making videos about killing other politicians. We would not be so hostile and hateful and so void of
so selfish
and connection.
Yeah.
We are not okay. The stuff that we've been doing is not working.
Wow. That's good.
It is not working.
That's good, Dan.
Corporal punishment isn't working. Our education system isn't working. Our prison system isn't working. Our healthcare system isn't working. We are not okay.
Wow. What date are we doing this?
December 8th. I'm a little passionate about it.
Woo!
Sometimes I get so frustrated. So like, okay, I'll give you today's Veterans Day. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
So when my security clearance was a level higher than top secret. So what did that mean?
Okay.
That meant that when I was recruited and while I was going through basic, the FBI came to Little Bitty old Bristol and they interviewed people and they dig through your life, right?
Right.
And I was 18. I had just turned 18. I'll never forget. I came home and one of my friends, she was like, "Girl, the FBI was asking about you." I was like, "Yeah, it's my security clearance, right?"
Right.
So here's the thing. At one time, when I was sexually molested by a neighbor,
okay,
there was a court case about it, right? So so there's a record of it, right? So there was an actual record. So I know that they knew that. Also, when you go through for like a security clearance application, you do a psych eval, right?
Okay.
They knew I was jacked up then, right? Y'all knew, because I had PTSD from childhood and from military, so I had it both, right? Okay. So that means when you got me, you knew I already had these challenges and these triggers and these traumas, right? You also knew that that my IQ was 138 and that I scored really, really well on your ASVAB, and that you wanted me to be either in your medical field or in your communications field, and I was a body, right?
Wow.
But you avoided all my issues. You didn't give me any support system. You didn't give me the tools. And why not? Because they're there. So if you want me to serve, why didn't you say, okay, great, here's your duty station and here's your therapist, right?
Yeah.
Here's your duty station and here's your mental health counselor. Why weren't those things present? Because we avoid the hard stuff. And then you wonder why soldiers come back so jacked up, even worse than when they went in. And because if you think about it, the people that join the military, typically, they're not rich white folk.
That's true.
They're poor white people or they are minorities. That's who joins the military, right? So there's this disregard for your health and well-being that we learn. So like, I think back now, like, so what did that teach me? You used me.
Yeah.
You used me and I was a baby. I was 18 years old.
Wow.
And where could I be? What could I have been doing my whole life had I gotten the tools that I needed? What if my teachers had intervened? What if my pastor had intervened? What if right?
Right. That's right.
But we are taught to avoid. And that is why we end up not okay.
And it keeps packing on. And Teresa is saying, so Teresa, based on what you just said, she said, well, I guess I'm not okay. Well, I am not okay. And so she said, you know her backstory.
She's not okay.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how I know you're not okay, Teresa, because I extended you a session the other day, and you said yes, and you were going to let me know when you got home, but I didn't hear from you.
Hello. Come on.
I didn't hear from you though.
Come on.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we celebrate it being so hard to ask and receive help?
I know.
Why is that somehow a symbol of strength? That is not a symbol of strength.
That's true. That's true.
Being stuck is not being strong.
That's right. And we wear it like a badge of honor. If you open up our chest, we ought to have a symbol that says, I'm not okay. And we wear it like we proud of it too.
Listen, people will say, y'all know I have a hard time asking for help. Well, I'm gonna need you to stop speaking things that you do not want to exist. Is that the reality that you want in your life? Do you want to not be able to ask for help? Do you want to not be able to receive? Listen, I got people all day long that run out and they play the lottery faithfully every week, right?
Yeah, sure do.
Listen, you can't even receive a cup of sugar from your neighbor. You ain't winning no damn lottery. You can't receive.
Give me a virtual high five. And Danny, people say, and I'm teaching this in a program that I'm working with for the city of Dothan, and I'm teaching on the law of attraction, very simplified version. Mm-hmm. It works, and I tell them all the time, guys, what you say is so powerful. And I say, if you can wrap your brain around, and one of the tools I use with my clients, I said, record 7 conversations, and you will see how negative you are. And I just love where you're going, my friend. Our vocabulary, our talk is so bad, and we're speaking things in existence, whether we're receiving it or not.
I teach people, when I coach with people, I say, so let me just make sure that you understand something. The universe does not work in negatives. The universe does not operate in negatives.
That's right.
So, and the most simplified way for me, I always default to my roots. Like my defaults, I was brought up in Christianity, right?
Right.
So if I take the Bible as an example, when God looked out into this big void of darkness, right?
That's right.
He did not say, let there not be darkness. No. He said,
preach.
Let there be light.
Preach.
Right?
That's right.
And that's what people do not understand. So when people say things like, I don't like the fact, so when I think about this all the time in church, people say, do not be afraid. No, what you hear is be afraid.
That's exactly right.
It's like when you're out, so they teach you this in survival training, where you're out in the wilderness and a bear comes, and they tell people, do not say don't run, because all people hear is run.
Right.
And they run, right?
That's
you
right.
don't hear the negative. The universe doesn't work in negatives.
Right.
And so so what I tell people all the time, stop saying fearless. Stop saying fearless, because that still means you got fear. Do you just want to fear less, or do you want to be courageous? Which one do you want? Do you just want to have less fear, or do you want to have more courage?
That's so good. And that's why I say we choose faith.
We choose everything, and we co-create. So this is the thing, though. There's no shame around creating negative things or having what appear to be even your negative things. So the things that keep you stuck, the stories that you have, the limiting beliefs that you have to understand that you are doing them because you think it's for your best interest. You're doing it to protect you, to keep you safe,
right,
because where you are, you at least know, you already know that you can live and survive in this space, right? So even if the space I'm in sucks, right? At least I know how to live and survive in this space, right? So when you understand that your subconscious designed these things to keep you safe, then you can be thankful for that self-preservation, that innate survival instinct.
That's right.
And then thank it for having served you up until this point, and then retire it I don't need you anymore. I'm good. And then you get other tools in which to make yourself feel safe.
That's good.
And that sounds really easy. It can be challenging in this world because in this world, especially in this country, everything is a threat. You make a mistake, you need to be punished.
Right. That's right.
It's not you need to be edified. It's not you need to be taught. It's not that you need to be uplifted. It's not that you need support. Nope, you should pay for your mistakes.
Hello. That's exactly right, Danny. Man, you get, hey, they high-fiving in the chat room, my friend. They going off in the chat room. They going off in the chat room.
I say it because I really feel it. Like, I feel every ounce of this in my being that we are not okay.
We are not
and
okay.
If we do not get okay, our babies are going to die. We are not going to have the resources that God gave us on this planet. We are not going to thrive the way that we were designed to thrive. It will just be bad. And if you can't feel that,
right, you
need to have a come to Jesus moment, a come to Buddha, come to Jesus, come to somebody moment.
Hello.
Because you're missing it.
That's right.
None of the I see people, especially there's a bunch of Christian folk on Clubhouse. Every room they open is about generational wealth and finances, right. And like that's all they talking about.
That's it.
And abundance has its place, but that's abundance is more than your finances.
That's exactly right.
Abundance is more than money, right? Abundance is when is the last time you really felt joy?
Come on.
Not manufactured happiness, not temporary laughter, not a comedic distraction,
right? But
actual joy.
Amen.
When I think about joy in my life, the first thing that comes to mind are my grands.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the first thing. Not that them little jokers don't get on my nerves, but when I think about like places where I can tap into joy, but the other places are I find joy in my spiritual practices,
right? In
my connection to the Creator, to
oh, this is good. Yeah.
I find joy in my gifts,
right?
Not this. Like I don't find joys in the skills I learned in this world. So like for me, marketing is not joy,
right?
But art is joy, coaching is joy, communication is joy.
That's right.
Compassion is joy, right?
Yeah.
Edification is joy.
Right. This moment for me, this brings me joy. Hanging out with you, this brings me joy. And the chat room, this, like you said, operating in our gift, we talked about it yesterday, operating in our gift, this brings us joy, guys. This brings us joy. Danny, real quickly, revisit what we're going to do next month for everybody. Okay. So December 8th at 6:30 p.m., we're going to hold a private event via Zoom. And I'll put up a page for you to be able to register, give your email address. Nobody's going to email you to death or whatever. Right. You'll get a reminder about the event, whatever. This event we're not going to charge for. And it's really about more of this conversation. Amen. And combined with practical tools and steps for you to be able to know if you're okay. So like, it's one thing to tell me, I used to be in church, literally, and the pastor give you this thing, and I would leave and be like, okay, but how do I apply that? Like, it felt really good when I heard the sermon. Like, please, pastor, tell the truth. You better, all of that, yes. Or if it was Deacon Wyatt on the front pew. Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right, pastor.
Yes, but how do you apply it? So, And it's okay. So follow me. So when we say, are you really okay? It's identifying that you're not okay. Identifying the root causes. And let me tell you, folks, there's usually several layers, right? So being able to unpack your baggage and say, okay, what issues? And a lot of times you have recurring themes that show up in different situations, because they're rooted, and so it's becoming mindful of those things. It's figuring out steps to be able to process it, to separate like what's actually happening in your life and what you're making it mean. Right? I'm gonna talk to you about the telescope technique and the connect method in a way for you to understand why you are seeing people and situations the way you are, including yourself. Right? The lenses through which you are viewing things and people, what you're making them mean, and why. Like, why are you? Why do we self-sabotage? And think that it's okay?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I had a client tell me this week, she said, I'm the only friend I've ever had.
Wow.
And but let me she said that to me. In the meantime, though, her negative self-talk is huge.
Right.
And she engages in behavior that is destructive. And so I said to her, well, are you really your friend?
Hello.
You might be the only person you're really spending time with, but you don't sound like a friend.
That's good. That's good.
Because you don't treat friends like that. Would you talk to your friends the way you talk to you?
Wow.
Right? So we want to have this event on December 8th to give you, hopefully to bring some awareness to the fact that most of us are not okay.
Amen.
Amen. I think okay is a BS word to start with. To get very present to what we get by saying we're okay, right? What do we get to avoid? What behaviors do we get to justify? And then getting very present to what it's costing us.
Amen. Amen. It's good.
What is the cost of being okay?
That is so good. How can people follow you, Danny?
The Danny Cook. So the Danny Cook on Facebook, Instagram. I think Twitter though is still under my old poet name, Danny the Poet.
Okay.
But if you just put in Danny Cook, you'll find me most times.
That's right.
And that is how. And yeah.
Hey man, it's so good to see you. We you bring in the words of Anita Bacon, I heard this on Twitter, you bring me joy.
So silly. So silly.
But listen, you know what?
She got her master's.
I know, right? I'm so glad that you and I met on Periscope.
I know, long time ago. Six years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 2015, 2016, latter part of 2015. I saw this Periscope, the rantings of Danny Cook, and you had me at hello. But listen, everybody, this is Danny Cook, and Teresa said she's going to reach out to you because she wants that session.
Good. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All right. Well, we'll bring her back. She'll be here again next week. She doesn't know it yet, but she'll be here again next week. We got to talk about this back. All right. Hey, guys, that was Danny, the Danny Cook. That's my friend. We're going to run to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. I got a couple of things I got to talk about. So we'll be right back, guys.
Hey now, if you'd like to donate today to the Dr. Walter Sims Show, please donate at Cash App, $Walter H. Sims. Yes, that's Cash App, $WALTERHSIMS. That's Cash App, $Walter H. Sims.
Well, if you're sitting there on my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification because people are subscribing to the channel. Your subscription matters. We got a lot of things in the works right now, and I just want you to know that you are a part of it. And thank God for those awesome comments. We the show is growing. Eyeballs are looking at us, and we're gaining some traction. So I want you to know that you are a part of that. We just appreciate you. I cannot tell you thank you enough, guys. There's some stuff on my it's some stuff I got to talk about, but real quick, check this out. Guys, I saw this yesterday. This is a good movie. I saw it the day before yesterday, The Harder They Fall. A great cast. The story is fictitious, but the characters are real. Cowboys, the Wild Wild West, but it is so good. It'll keep your attention. It's roughly a little over 2 hours. It'll definitely keep your attention. I was very impressed. It's on Netflix now. Idris Elba is in it. Regina King is in it. Great cast. I mean, it is really, really good. You won't be disappointed. It's a cowboy movie, and people get shot in cowboy movies. I'm just saying. So, but check it out. It's a great cast. I really enjoyed it. Guys, I don't know what to say. Wilma, David, Miss Danny, Teresa, Miss Vanessa, little Jeremiah, Minister Jeremiah, everybody. Kyle Rittenhouse defense plans to call several more witnesses after his crucial testimony. He shot and killed 2 men last August. And he's claiming self-defense. Watch this clip.
Hey, when did this guy become an actor?
Mr. Rosenbaum was now running from my right side, and I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Zeminski, and there were people right there. That's what I run.
All right, give it to him.
And the Oscar goes to...
Like David just said, and this is my attitude, and it's sad. This is sad. This is a sad commentary on our judicial system. I saw some comments on Ghost video. The tears wouldn't even flow because it wasn't real. He didn't cry when he killed those 2 men. He's claiming self-defense. I agree with David Pryor, my dear brother up in Maine. I agree with David. He's going to be acquitted. I've served on jury duty. I served on jury duty, and this brother was on trial for, I believe, drugs or something. And all you have to do, all the defense has to do, is prove reasonable doubt. One juror, he has to sway one juror to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that his life was in danger. Not answering the question, why were you there? They're trying to paint him as a child. Well, why does a child have an AR-15? Why did his mother drive him across state lines, bring him to an area he had no business being in? You don't, David, you already know. You already know. Look how they painted Trayvon Martin. He was a black man reaching in his trousers what appeared to be a gun. It was Skittles. Shot and killed in cold blood. And George Zimmerman walked, did not serve a day in jail, if I remember correctly. But you heard it here first. You heard it here first. David and I stand in agreement. He's not gonna serve time. He's gonna get off. Because again, all the defense has to do is cause reasonable doubt. Well, it looked like he was in fear of his life. Really, you shot a brother 4 times. Why can't you shoot him in the leg or run away? But anyway, we already know the rest of this story. But I'm just shaking my head. All right, I got my 2 pennies coming. I have never liked this quarterback. Like Shannon Sharp said yesterday, hands down, he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. For the NFL to only fine him $15,000 is an insult. What's $15,000 to a multimillionaire? They fined the Green Bay Packers $300,000. I'm not questioning his stance on vaccination or not. What I take issue with, he misled everybody when they asked him point blank, are you vaccinated? He said, I'm immunized. I listened to this Joe Rogan guy. Really? And he's going to claim the other day, well, I'm a critical thinker, so the rest of us are not. I did not like him when he fell 24th to the Green Bay Packers 15 years ago, Miss Vanessa. Didn't like him then, don't like him now. He's arrogant, self-righteous, can't tell him a thing. He believes he's above the law. And he is the iconic representation of white privilege. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Miss Vanessa. He is the icon, and that Kyle Rittenhouse, the icon of white privilege. He's a white quarterback. You let some of those other brothers try to pull what he pulled. Okay, watch Stephen A. Watch Stephen A.
I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm ashamed of him right now.
Come on, Stephen A. Come on, Stephen.
If Aaron Rodgers is watching this interview Friday on Pat McAfee's show, whatever day, I think it was Friday that he did that interview, you came across as a national embarrassment. There is no other way around it. It was the most embarrassing performance of Aaron Rodgers' career. Period. There is no denying that. Let's count the ways. First of all, as you said, he could have easily come out and tell the truth. The fact that you went on Pat McAfee's show and articulated what you articulated as extensively as you did, you could have did that back in August when they asked you the question. So that's point number one. Point number two, you said you didn't lie. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. How about deliberately deceitful? Does that work? Does that work?
Stephen A.
Because you knew that
that's right, Ms.
You didn't take the Pfizer, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and you knew in the eyes of the NFL that was the stipulation under which you were declared vaccinated or unvaccinated. So when you told the media yes in answering their question, you said yes first, then you said I'm immunized. You gave the impression that you were vaccinated on purpose. So you were deliberately deceitful. Point number three. Why? Because you didn't feel like dealing with the shrapnel of criticism, or dare I say an intensified probe into why you had declared that you had decided to be unvaccinated, so you couldn't take the heat. Well, how does that translate to other things? So, I mean, you couldn't take the heat about Green Bay. Were you telling the truth about them? Was you telling the truth about Gutekunst? Was he wrong in how he had treated you after all?
Come on, Steve.
I mean, you give one position to the media, and then behind closed doors, you take another position. Who are you, Aaron Rodgers? That's the question, because you brought all of that into the equation, okay? That's number three. Number four, witch hunt. What witch hunt? Carson Wentz is not vaccinated. Kirk Cousins is not vaccinated. Is there a witch hunt at those guys? I see them playing every week. If anything, they stand taller today than they ever have in their career because they were willing to do what you, Aaron Rodgers, was not willing to do, which was to man up and state your position.
I like what Steve said. You were deliberately deceitful. Now, we just hate using that word lie. Aaron Rodgers is a liar. All right? And Ghost talked about him too. He said, I was a staunch Aaron Rodgers fan, Green Bay Packer. I don't have nothing for him right now. And people trying to make him out to be a hero. But I mean, if you felt the way you felt, just come out in August when they ask you the question, are you vaccinated? Say no for these reasons and list them. But you put your team and everybody around you in harm's way. Come on, somebody. But anyway, it's just my 2 pennies. But and one thing another friend of mine said, if you're an Aaron Rodgers fan, okay, you still a fan. If you didn't like Aaron Rodgers, you still don't like Aaron Rodgers. I think Shannon said this on Undisputed yesterday. If you didn't like Aaron Rodgers before this, you're not gonna like him now. Come on, somebody. Listen, I got some relationship advice for you real quick.
You know me? Huh? You know me?
In relationships that are not okay. What kind of help have you sought to help heal your heart? I remember, and y'all heard me talk about this. I remember when Jonathan, a young person at a soccer camp, kicked him in the knee and broke his leg, basically. and he had to get a cast. So he was in the cast for about 8 weeks, but the rehab took about 12. And the rehab was more painful than being in the cast, a broken leg. And I mean, his leg had, lost some size and everything, so had to build up the muscle. And so how many times has our heart been broken and hasn't healed, and yet we keep on going and we jump in and out of relationship, and we have not tended to a broken heart and a broken spirit and broken trust, etc. And we go from relationship to relationship to relationship. I got a client now, we're working through some stuff. And I challenge you, if you have not sought help, now is the time. And I would just like to say that if you need a life coach, if you need a relationship coach, contact me, Dr. Sims at drwaltersims.com, because business owners need to remember personal development is a business expense, and most insurances cover mental health. Come on, somebody. Do you feel me? You feel me? Let me get out of here. Let me get ready to get out of here. I just want y'all to know I've enjoyed y'all today.
Isn't it crazy that we can relax?
Always. Danny has been good. I thank y'all for being here today. Shout out to everybody in the chat room today. Much love to everybody. Remember, this is the month of Thanksgiving, and I need you to answer the question, are you okay? If you're not okay, you need to reserve your seat in our upcoming live event. I'm so excited. Live webinar. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I appreciate you and you today. And remember,